Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Today, we're going to be going over the Wait white paper, talking a little bit about this free money opportunity that we've all been given as Pulse Chain sacrificers, Pulse X sacrificers, just as sacrificers in general. So, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you know something about it or you want to learn a little bit more about it. So, let's just jump straight into it because honestly, this white paper is going to be that full explanation, that full breakdown for us, and I'm really excited to look over it. There's a lot of game theory in this one. It's a really just unique way of creating an asset, and yeah, I mean, let's see what we can understand from this project. So this is the Wait protocol, or the Wait smart contract. oxwait.com is going to be the website. It's a Pulse Chain pre-sale token. So Wait can be minted by those who have sacrificed for the global political freedoms that we all agreed to when sacrificing for, PulseX, Pulse Chain, Genius. I think it was like 8 qualifying sacrifice phases that we were able to sacrifice for. This is a cool table of contents, and let's just jump straight into the introduction. So the Wait ERC20 smart contract that tokenizes time spent waiting for the launch of Pulse Chain, the new DPoS Ethereum fork being created by Richard Hart. While alluded to, the Pulse Chain release date has never been confirmed, leaving the community to continuously wait for deployment. Coast intends to gamify this time period and give free Wait tokens to anyone who sacrificed for Pulse and or Pulse X. We have further included the sacrifice for 6 other projects building on Pulse Chain. So we're going to find out which one those are in a few minutes. Wait uses a combination of on-chain smart contracts, connectors, and off-chain data sources to create the ETH and BSC sacrifice sets. Very important, because if you sacrifice for BSC, you know that you will also be able to qualify for this. For each of the 8 supported projects, the system allows claimers to quickly check their ETH address against the sacrifice database before minting their Wait. Due to time and usability constraints, Coast is only able to support those who sacrifice on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. This is a difficult decision, but something that we felt was in the best interest of the project. Interesting. And due to the time, I already read that. The total supply of Wait will depend on the launch date for Pulse Chain. Every hour that passes before Pulse launches entitles each address in each sacrifice set to mint an additional Wait. But before you rush to claim, please note that you can only claim one time from each sacrifice. Interesting. So if you claim your Wait from the Pulse sacrifice on launch day, July 5th, Pulse doesn't launch until Christmas, and you will have missed out on 4,272 Wait. So because it is impossible to know when Pulse Chain will launch, the Wait contract requires that manager function to be run post fork. So the function can be run one time only on each chain, Pulse and Ethereum. The manager function halts all Wait claims, distributes the midnight bonus, and locks the manager from all future non-public functions. So here there's a midnight bonus that they're referring to. We got to definitely look into that. A manager function, which of course is something that you want to not be concerned about, but always look into what that does, right? Anything that is manager or admin related probably is something that we want to focus on. And we appreciate that this is an imperfect solution. So if you could ask Richard to please tell us the launch date, we'll hard code that into the contract. All right, cool. So this is the sacrifices that are going to be acknowledged. We have Pulse Chain, PulseX, Hurricash, Mintra, IMD. We have Liquid Loans, Genius, and Fiat. So these are the 8 sacrifices that are going to be able to qualify for this. Seems like they didn't use the start. Yeah, they used the end date. So they used the end date of each sacrifice as the first day for the adding of, the mint process. The tokenomics, yeah, here we go. We have some beautiful numbers there. So the supply, let's talk about that. Wait will be launched on July 5th, 2022. At launch, the supply will be as follows. Launch supply is 881 million, eligible to claim 195,000 wallets. Daily inflation, 4.6 million Wait. So the total potential Wait will be locked when Pulse Chain launches. However, to be considered part of the circulating supply, these Wait must be minted by users. While it is unlikely, we cannot rule out the edge case that some users may choose not to mint their Wait, or instead to mint it at a certain place and time for tax purposes. So as a result, we refer to the potential supply as the key supply metric. A single Wait token can be minted by each address in each sacrifice set until Pulse launches. You mint your own tokens by running the mint function on the etherscan.io or through our custom dApp at app.oxwait.com. So yeah, we'll be looking at that as well in a few minutes. On July 5th launch day, the following Wait will be available. So these are the distributions here. So 337 days running for Pulse, 132, 106, 110 for Mintra, 35, 127 for Hurricash, 31 Fiat, 108 Internet Money. 24 hours for each one. So I'm sure if we divide 24 hours by the inflation for that, then we will probably be receiving what it gets per hour. And then we have over here the addresses that are available for the Pulse sacrifice. It's only 55,000, 124,000 for PulseX, and these are the total supplies. So it seems like because PulseX had so many more sacrificers that they have a near total supply as the Pulse chain sacrifice. And these seem to be the two biggest. Second biggest seeming to be Liquid Loans, and then we have Mintra, Genius, Hurricash, Fiat, and then Internet Money. Well, Internet Money seems to be like the fifth, but it was just placed at the bottom. So 808 million. Total inflation is 23,664. And yeah, based on which ones you have, you should have something near these on launch day. So you have, let me see here. Okay, yeah, so I understand the math now. So you have, this is the total inflation you have currently for your Pulse as of July 5th. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have to find the rate for adding these up, how much you get per hour per day. And then, yeah, if you have all of them, so if you probably sacrifice for all of them, you would have 23,664 weight available to you. If you sacrifice for the top three, then you'll probably have, somewhere between, this is 12, this is like 15, more or less, 17, yeah, and then you just add them up. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, guys, the distribution is pretty simple. They seem like they didn't complicate it because, let me see. All right, let's talk about the distribution, how it works here. So weight can be minted per address that participated in the 8 sacrifices previously outlined. However, this distribution is not even because we all exist in a proof of weight system. Those who have waited the longest are able to mint the most weight. The timer for each project began with when its sacrifice phase ended. So that confirms that. Please note also that addresses and weight sacrifice sets are not ordered by the size of the sacrifice. There we go. We assume that everyone sacrificed as much as they could reasonably afford for all the projects launching on Pulse. So we have decided that to make claim weight addresses based on not sacrifice balance base and not sacrifice balance base. So address base and not sacrifice balance base. Further, we have chosen not to differentiate between dates within a sacrifice. Everyone's counter starts when that sacrifice ended. So pretty much everyone's receiving the same amount. I'm pretty sure there are people who even minted a very small amount of PulseX, whatever. They sent a very small sacrifice, and they're probably getting a bunch of weight because they just put in a very small amount. So there's some small addresses out there getting blessed as well. The distribution could be considered to advantage those with smaller sacrifices and could likely validate the community members who promoted the idea of sacrificing a small amount to get an address into sacrifice sets. Yeah. Here we have the concept of shares. So for each weight that a sacrificer mints, they receive a corresponding share. Shares are used to calculate and distribute bonuses. So here we go about the bonuses. Shares are not transferable, meaning that if the sacrificer mints their weight and sells it, they will retain their shares. As such, they will also receive a proportional share of the bonuses. So claiming your bonuses. Here we have the free claim. So you can only complete a claim function one time for each project. This means the longer you wait, the more weight you receive. But to wait too long and you'll miss your chance to claim when Pulse Chain launches. Interesting. And your weight will be redistributed to those that did claim and the timekeeper via the midnight bonus. We got to find out about who the timekeeper is. Weight can be minted either directly on etherscan.io or using the custom dApp. For assurance of safety, our contract audits are completed and verified by solid proof. A read-only permission is required to check your ETH address is in each sacrifice set. Upon completion of this function, each sacrifice will display whether your address is eligible to claim and how much weight your address is eligible to claim. If you did not participate in a given sacrifice, you will not be entitled to claim or receive a midnight bonus from that project. So, to my knowledge, I remember seeing the Pulse Police talking something about weight and the fact that it is a safe project. So, just to be clear, this is a safe project to work with. I am making this video because of that, and we're looking into it specifically because we were told and that we were showed that this is a safe project to work with. To reiterate, if you do not claim by launch or Pulse Chain, by the launch of Pulse Chain, you will receive 0 weight. The end claiming function upon launch of Pulse Chain at one time, irreversible end minting manager function will be run on both the Ethereum and Pulse chains. This function ends minting, capping the potential supply of weight. The end minting function also calculates the midnight bonus and locks the contract so that the manager cannot mint any additional weight. And from this point forward, the weight contract is immutable. There will be no more new weight created after this event. Here we go with the midnight bonus. Only 3% of Bitcoin holders claim their free hex. Therefore, it is unlikely that all eligible addresses will claim their free weight. When Pulse Chain launches, the unclaimed weight will be distributed proportionally to those that did claim based on the number of shares they received when they minted their weight. So those who mint weight are going to be able to receive these shares. When the time of the midnight bonus comes on the day of Pulse Chain launch, there will be a distribution of all of those shares. So for one share, you receive one weight. And then I'm sure that anything extra that is not minted is going to be distributed per share. So that'll be interesting. It'll probably be more than one. There are technically 8 midnight bonuses, one for each individual sacrifice. If you only sacrifice for Mintra, your shares are only counted in the Mintra midnight bonus. Okay, so yeah, so it will only be per bonus that you sacrifice for. You will not receive weight from the midnight bonus of other sacrifices. The midnight bonus is distributed via a manager function, and this function halts the claim, so this is the manager function we're talking about, and prevents any future minting of weight even by the manager. Users will be able to mint the remaining weight themselves in relation to the amount of shares they have. One weight equals one share. The midnight bonus will be distributed on both Ethereum chain and the Pulse chain because it is post-fork function. This requires the manager function to be run on both chains separately. When 50% will be redistributed to claimers, and 50% will be sent to the timekeeper. So the timekeeper is an ETH address. So look, it's answering our questions really fast. The timekeeper is an ETH address that receives 50% of the midnight bonus when Pulse Chain launches. It performs no other functions. Nice. So the timekeeper is going to be a wallet address, probably receiving the function very similar to the OA address on Hex. That's going to be a pretty unique, not unique, but a pretty cool thing that I guess they have for them. It's probably something that they're going to utilize for future purposes. You know, that's I'm not sure what they're going to use it for. No expectations, right? But yeah, that's going to be an address separately, probably more than likely for the creators of the asset. And over here we have the game theory. So we can look into the game theory. I think this is gonna let me see what else we have over here. So we have leagues, technical architecture. Yeah, man, let's just go straight through it. It's not that long, honestly. So game theory. So weight incentivizes patience and delaying gratification, but will provide greater rewards to those that closely monitor the progress of Pulse Chain by staying active in the community, following news, and being on the pulse of the release date. Patience. The primary game theory component for weight contract is that the longer you wait before you claim, the more weight and shares you will receive. The user that can wait the longest will receive the greatest rewards. Understood. And then the chicken game theory. So have you ever wanted to play chicken with a billionaire? Well, there's your chance. The second most important game theory component of weight is the potential to lose everything if you wait too long. You're all now playing a game of chicken against Richard Hart. We're acting towards the cliff. We're racing towards the cliff, and somebody has to slam on the brakes. Will it be you? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be me, man, to be honest. So what will you do? Lock in your midnight bonus and mint your weight, or keep waiting to accumulate? The more weight and bonus shares, you decide. So this is for the bonus here. When a user mints their free weight, the address is allocated to an equivalent number of shares in the midnight bonus. The shares are not transferable, so if you decide to sell your weight before the Pulse release, you will still get your midnight bonus. The midnight bonus will be distributed on both the Ethereum and Pulse chain shortly after the fork. Yeah, and so you can essentially, for waiting here, you're going to receive more weight per day, and you know, the longer you get as close as you get to that day, you know, you're pretty much playing with fire, right? You can either take your money now or take it later. There's going to be a pretty interesting way that this is going to play out. I mean, honestly, it's unique. I mean, it's a cool way to be able to mint your stuff. I mean, honestly, it comes down to greed, right? Well, you want to take all your things now. How long will it take? I mean, maybe it'll take until the end of the year. Maybe it'll take 30 days. Who knows? I mean, that's kind of like wishful thinking, but we definitely want to see exactly what's going to be going on with Pulse Chain to be able to keep a close eye on what's happening with weight. And I'm sure as a community we will do that, and we will figure out a way to, to claim as much weight as we possibly can. So the weight claim average, the term dollar cost averaging has a very specific meaning in investments, but weight claim phase might have an element of this too. Since you can either claim your weight from all the projects at once or individually, you have the ability to hedge your claims. You can claim early to lock in your weight and bonuses for one project, and perhaps wait longer on another project trying to time the Pulse release. Rob the timekeeper. 50% of the midnight bonus is paid proportionally to those that free claim their weight, and the remaining 50% is held by the timekeeper address. The more sacrifices that claim their weight, the lower their share of the potential supply the timekeeper receives. So the more sacrifices that claim, the lower the share of the potential supply that the timekeeper receives. So, I mean, to rob the timekeeper, share the weight project with other users in weight sacrifices and make sure they claim their weight and shares before the clock strikes midnight. Value creation. I mean, to rob the timekeeper, let me see, 50% amount would be proportional to those who reclaim their weight. So if it's going to be proportional, 50-50 for the timekeeper, 50-50 for us, I mean, there's not really any reason to want to rob the timekeeper if you want to keep it for yourself. Ultimately, of course, if we do want to share with others, they will receive their stuff. But I mean, I guess it'll be just distributed to more people. It's kind of like that game theory is a little, different. But ultimately, I kind of do see the understanding there. To rob the timekeeper, share the weight project with other users and 8 sacrifices. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, if ultimately it's to keep more money with the community as opposed to the timekeeper. But who knows? It's probably maybe more beneficial for the timekeeper to have a lot of it, because if they're not expected to sell any of it, then, maybe it's better in their hands. That could probably pump the price higher, right? That's probably what we need. Value creation. Weight is designed to tokenize and deliver value to people who have sacrificed for products in the Pulse chain ecosystem. Those who can wait the longest will receive the most weight. After Pulse launches and the midnight bonuses are distributed, Weight will not have, any future development. We have seen multiple examples this year of tradable tokens developing additional utility that was not apparent at launch. This has been done in several ways, but in general has provided an advantage for holders to participate in a new project. This is very interesting. And a little Easter egg. So, yeah, we know we're going to probably expect something very soon from these guys. And now let's talk about the leagues. So, as you guys can see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leagues, very similar to the Staker app. You have the Flooded Flea, which is no claim at all, Anxious Apes on the 25th percentile, Restless Raccoons, Cautious Camels, Bidding Bears, Patient Pandas, Enduring Elephants, and the Waiting Whales. So that's the 98th percentile of stakers. Sacrificers. Those would be the people that probably sacrifice for all. And then you have, of course, trickling down as it goes down. So it is possible for an anxious ape to become a waiting whale, but don't end up a flooded flea without a good reason. So yeah, I think the longer that you wait, the more that you can receive, and the more that you can receive in weight, the better and the higher you can be on this this league structure. And so yeah, I guess the guys or the girls who wait till the very last day for Pulse Chain and they get very lucky to mint, they'll probably be higher up here if they have all 8 sacrifice sets. So it's going to be a very unique type of address that has all 8 sacrifice sets that also waits for the one of the few last days in which you can mint. So it's interesting. Based on your percentage of ownership versus the potential supply, you will be placed into one of these 8 leagues. To become a waiting whale in the ecosystem, you will need to have done one of the following: provide significant support to the ecosystem, executed optimal game theory, and accumulated additional weight. It is possible for an anxious ape to become a waiting whale, but do not end up a flooded flea. And yeah, you can also accumulate more weight, so you can buy it off of the open market. And right now, we'll look at the price in a few minutes, but pretty sure it's still very cheap. Technical architecture. So releasing the weight on Ethereum requires several layers of technology to communicate. So this is what they were talking about in the beginning. There are over 150,000 eligible sacrifice addresses from 8 projects we chose to support through weight, through the weight free claim. But 150 Ethereum addresses attached to individual project metadata is simply too much to be hard-coded into a smart contract. So this means that allowing the user to check eligibility of an address and then mint weight requires the weight contract to talk to off-chain data that is assembled and hosted separately. So having a smart contract fetch off-chain data is not a simple task, because it becomes easier with the emergence of Chainlink's collection of Oracle contracts, nodes, and external adapters. Let's walk through an example. So this would probably be the example. Let's get a little bit closer here. The way it's going to do that is, so what I see here is you have your MetaMask account, and then you check for you run the check function on your contract, and what that's going to do is it's going to check the Oracle contract, reach out to the Chainlink node, then reach out to the external adapter, and then reach out to the database. And on the database, it'll either be not eligible. If all of these return as not eligible to the Oracle, it'll return to the actual contract function as cannot mint. So you can't mint if your database isn't showing any sacrifice during the sacrifice phase. But if, however, it does come back eligible, that will trickle down to all of these different nodes and external adapters, back to the Oracle, and then ultimately back to the contract, which will then allow you to mint your weights and receive your token. So very simple using the Oracle contract, but that probably makes it a lot more efficient for them on their end. And that's interesting. Now here we have finally the safety audit run by Solid Proof for the OX weight contract, and of course community feedback. So this will be available. So this is already available. Community feedback we have. Yeah, it's probably them wanting to have us feedback and do videos on it. Here we are, bro. And yeah, I mean, cool. So we have all these references here. All right, so this is the website. Let's open up the website. This is the solidproof.io website where they ran the audit. This is not the first Solid Proof audit I have seen before. So yeah, let's just go back to the website, because here a client-side exception has occurred. See the browser console for more information. Okay, there we go. All right, so that was probably my MetaMask. All right, so here we have where you can connect to the DApp, and this one I haven't showed it to you guys yet, but here we have the ability to mint all 8 of these sacrifices that are eligible. And essentially, if I click here where it says check database, more than likely it will pull up a function to open up my MetaMask and then check the database first. So that's the first function. The second function would be the mint function, which they said we can do for all of them, or we can do individually. So once it's checked, it will probably show us here the PulseX, Liquid Loans, Huracash, what each one is available to. From there, you have the ability to mint one, mint all. There's probably going to be some, good ideas, bad ideas as far as doing that, which I think, we can probably talk about here in this video, because ultimately, what you can do is, I'm assuming the biggest one is going to be the Pulse Chain one. Then the second biggest, PulseX, and the third, Liquid Loans. And I believe Huracash or Mintra was like the fourth biggest or fifth biggest. And between these 5, you're going to have to decide which one you're going to want to get first. So you can probably do the Pulse first, or you can do PulseX, Liquid Loans, Huracash, Mintra first, and then Pulse, or just do the Pulse ecosystem and then go for the opposite ones. Like Liquid Loans, Huracash, not opposite, but the alternative coins, I guess you can say. Liquid Loans, Huracash, Mintra. That would probably be, yeah, like maybe a couple thousand in mint. I mean, we all have the same mint at the end of the day, so it would be more of a game theory as to how long you can hold these coins for, how long you can wait, right? Pun intended. And then you have also the fact that you can accumulate some more. So let's talk about what the current price is for weight. Let's go over here to weight. Boom. So we're currently trading at about 0.012 cents. We do have a lot of data here. It's not a lot. It looked like a lot. It was on the 5-minute time frame, but the data is showing, yeah, there's nothing here, man. We started off at what was this, $1? So price started off at $1.13, fell to 3 cents, pumped up to 24, and now we were trading at a penny. But the really important thing to notice here is the liquidity. There's only $19,000 in liquidity, which I don't think is a lot of money. But we are starting to see price kind of move up a little bit over the past 24 hours. I'm pretty sure we already had some daily closures. Yeah, I mean, look at this daily closure. Like, we need to have at least a green daily closure to probably start to see some type of, bullish momentum. Right now, all we're seeing is green, 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 green. Clearly, after a bullish candle, there is some bullish pressure for the following day. Maybe we can continue that if we see something like that in the future, or maybe we just keep moving down. But ultimately, there are some people who seem like they want to keep dumping this, and there aren't that many buys. And if there are, they're very small: $300, $700, $800, $100, $1,200, $3,600, or no, sorry, $360, $1,000. So yeah, the buys are very small. The sells seem to be on the small side as well. We have a lot more sells than buys. 85K in volume so far for the buys and sells here, which is kind of keeping the liquidity up and down. Let's see for the past 24 hours what that looks like. Yeah, so that's the past 24 hours. In the past hour, we have equal to the sells and the buys, pretty much equal. 12 buys, 14 sells. Past 6 hours, half and half of each. So yeah, there's definitely more people dumping than there are buying. I probably won't be selling mine for now. I'll probably be waiting until this market price goes up a little bit more, because I sacrificed for, I think it was like 3 out of the 4 sacrifice sets. And personally, I would probably sell somewhere closer to like 20 cents as opposed to maybe selling at a penny. I just don't think it's worth it. So I'll probably hold. I don't think we could go much lower than a penny. And if we do it, I don't really mind. It's for all free money. So I'll just stay a little patient and wait. Either way, I'm not minting yet. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I do have a pretty close eye on the pulse chain market. And I will probably be notifying you and the Cashflow Amigos community for this information. If you guys actually want to learn a little bit more about this and talk about it in the group chat, guys, you can check the description below and you can join the Cashflow Amigos community group chat. In there, we can, discuss everything that you guys want to talk about. If you want to maybe go a little bit more in depth, and maybe this is your first time learning about cryptocurrency, I recommend joining our course. We have a Cashflow Amigos Academy that you guys can join. It's a $100 mentorship program where you guys can become a part of that program, receive all the courses that release for cryptocurrency, blockchain related information, and of course be a part of a private group chat where I personally mentor you guys and help you out with what it is that you need. Aside from this video, this is all informative. This is not financial advice. I can't really help you guys in that aspect, but I can inform you on what there is to do and the potentials of this market. So I would just say let's give it a couple more days. We will definitely drop an update video on this. I'm really excited for this project because it is pretty unique, and ultimately, having been a part of it, it is going to continue to give us more hashtag free money, man. I think that is the best part about it. I just love the fact that there's always free money coming into this ecosystem. And yeah, look, you see, you got someone just dumped 8,150 for $94. So they're pretty much giving away their coins. Other people are buying it up for pennies, or for dollar, like small dollar amounts, and well, really, honestly, pennies, because the price is at pennies. And yeah, I mean, guys, there's so many ways you can look at this. Would I buy more? I don't know if I would buy more, because ultimately I got free some of it for free. I don't really need a reason to kind of like trade this. I'm not too big of a trader, but once again, I will more than likely sell mine at later prices and after I wait. So yeah, nothing crazy. I'm not going to jump any gun. I'm going to wait for the market to add more liquidity. Also, that's the biggest aspect too, the liquidity aspect, guys. There's such low liquidity here that even if you wanted to dump, how much would you get? I think now there is more of a reasonable like size for you to be able to want to sell. You're only getting like a couple $100 for your full stacks. Like this person got 11,380, this person got 8,485, 8,450, 11,380. So these numbers are staying pretty constant, right? But look at these people buying, right? They're buying 100,000, 30,000, 10,000. But the selling is usually the same. Probably they sacrifice for 2, 3, 4, 5 of these individual sacrifice phases, and they're just getting rid of the coins. But I don't know. I think it's too cheap. I'll probably wait. I would more than likely wait. Well, guys, with that being said, this is the wait protocol, wait smart contract, whatever you want to call it. This is how it works. And if you guys have any questions, once again, join the group chat. I would love to see you guys there, talk to you guys on there. That's the only place I communicate with the community. There's too many scammers out there, guys. They want to make sure I take care of you guys and we take care of each other. And yeah, guys, so I appreciate you guys watching this whole video. A comment would be appreciated. Make sure you subscribe for more content. We're going to be dropping a lot more of these videos, live streams, almost every other week, a couple times a month. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. See you on the next one. Be easy.